Good morning. Decided to get into town to try and hit a couple of the Black Friday sales. Thankfully, I got the Coastal in time so I could get a pair of gloves, much needed gloves, and got there early enough. I got a little discount where I was able to buy one pair, get one pair free for $5. So I can't complain. But I'm surprised Wally World's not open yet, but I'm okay with that. Because some of that shit, I can just, if I have to, I can just go home, order it online, and go pick it up later. But I figured what the hell, I'd cruise over real quick just in case they might be open, and they're not. No, I had a fairly decent Thanksgiving. It was quiet. Spent it with that person and, of course, the 2 dogs and the cats. And made some smoked turkey legs, roasted chicken, green beans with bacon, some twice baked potatoes, and of course some dinner rolls. And then of course the puppies each got their own little plate. Even the kitty got his own little plate. Might have to pop a little picture up here somewhere, you know. But no, it was nice and decent for the most part. But I just kind of, at least for us, I think it was a decent day for the 2 of us. Still, there's some things that I learned, and then, you know, even though I had to wait, I wish, you know, a few folks a happy Thanksgiving, of course. There's one I kind of had to, you know, say something to a little bit, because this flying monkey bullshit and people trying to play me for stupid. Already 2 people contradicted what they had to say, and one of them already showed me how two-faced they could be. Well, both of them did, actually. It's just, one, I didn't expect it, but then at the same time, it's like, what can you expect from somebody who can't even stay faithful to their husband, and they're, messing with one of your old best friends? And I'm not talking about my ex, but then they're trying to get down your pants too at some point, and you're like, no. I made a vid a while back. I think I have it locked up now or unlisted, kind of addressing that, because that was back in June. It was like right after all this stuff happened, and my narc left the way they did, got discarded. I got triangulated and then discarded. And while I've still been dealing with that, at that time when everything was still fresh, I had like 3 or 4 people, actually a little more than that, because I wasn't really counting, because it just, I got a little pissed off, because I had a few sort of think like there was like a ticket machine, to take a number and stand in line like they were next, and it's like, no, I'm not that kind of person. I don't go from one bed to the next, that type of thing. I just don't do that. And so I had to call a couple of them out. Well, one of them was like, well, all right, I'm going to go be friends with your narc now. I'm going sent a friend's request to my narc. But the problem for them is my person already told me that I'll just say that young lady that I called sister at one time had sent her friend's request about a month or so ago. And when I kind of confront her on the situation, let her know, it's like, look, she already knows the shit you pulled. And the fact that y'all are being friends, this big fucked up circle, I had to kind of explain to my narc, like, look, you're going around and you're trying to be friends with people that have been friends with without realizing that not only are they friends, but they're also friends with my ex-wife whom you don't like and you have an issue with. They're all friends. I said, they're friends with the kids, all this shit. It's like, there's a fucked up circle going on, and I'm dealing with the repercussions of her bullshit stringing multiple men along, because I'm pretty sure one of those guys, and I know exactly who it is the reason why I started getting threats. Sort of the, what do you call it, the repercussions of her bullshit and lying to people, getting them to think I'm one way when I'm not, and that led to me getting threats from third parties, taking it upon themselves. And then I'm dealing with the second, another mess of shit that is obviously involving where my boys are concerned when it comes to some of these other friends of mine that were good friends of mine. And I had to kind of explain it out to my ex and everything. You know, I was like, look, you're trying to be friends with these people. Think about this. You become you become the people you surround yourself with. This is the type of people they are. You now know why I ended up, like, letting go of one of them and eventually blocking them because they weren't respecting boundaries. And then I get guilt trips and then get told I'm not guilt tripping. It's like, no, you're making me feel bad because of this, and this. And it's like, I'm not going to go down the list of that on here and all that stuff. But it's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm like, my longest living friend understands what's going on and why I had to disconnect from so many people and so many good friends. Because outside of my ex intentionally going to be friends with people I've been friends with for so long on purpose, but then some of them are taking upon themselves to do some shit themselves. On top of it, I'm dealing with these flying monkeys that are using these different friends of mine, their profiles, to get to my profile. All kinds of crazy shit. That's why I've been having to shut down my social medias and all that. Every now and then on my Facebook profile, I'll pop in once in a while. Like, I popped in yesterday for the first time in like a week to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving, that type of thing. Otherwise, I don't go on there anymore really at all, because I'm pretty done with all the games and the bullshit. What I've noticed is it's a bunch of women who can't stay faithful to the people they're with, whether it's their husbands, their boyfriends, or fiancés. And it's like, y'all out there ladies out there who are acting like men, being modern day feminists, you're making men look good. And none of you can sit and bitch and complain about how piggish men can be when you're acting like men. There are men out there who are trying to be women who are acting more ladylike these days than some of you women out there. And a lot of you who are out there doing this lying, cheating, and all this stuff, you don't have a fucking word, leg, anything to stand on or say to bitch about a man when you're acting in a lot of ways worse than a lot of men. When you're acting just as bad as some of the shittiest guys out there. You only have yourselves to blame if your relationships start failing. Just like the guys out there who act that way, they only have themselves to blame. If you're going to go out gold digging or go out pulling some fucked up shit, thinking it's fun and cool with your friends, you're no better than a man. Whether you have a swinging dick or not, you're going to act that way. You don't deserve the respect that you demand. And when I'm putting some pieces to a puzzle together a little bit, and some people already gave enough. It's like, I've already confronted another situation. It's like, I'm not going to get juggled. I'm still in love with my person and everything like that, but I'm doing my best to not cross certain lines, because we are not together, and I'm also not allowing myself to be used like that again or suckered into that situation where I'm being juggled, because I really don't know if they're telling the truth or not anymore. And I made that clear to them. I was like, this is the person I knew and fell in love with. This is who you were in high school. This is who you are now. And I can't say that and even myself, I've said this in a previous vid, not many people can look at their younger selves and say that they did themselves proud. But in that situation, there's no fucking way she could go back and say anything. She couldn't complain about what her mom did to her dad. She couldn't complain about her dad. She couldn't complain about anything at this point. anything and everything that she utilized as an excuse or complaint of why she acted out the way she has, she has no more excuse to complain about her parents and what they did in her childhood. She did it herself. And so, it's just something she has to live with. And with everything going on, there's shit I'm having to live with. And what some of these friends are not understanding is, they themselves, along with my children, and my older son's mom, and the people who extended out from that are linked to that bullshit and all the shit talking, the gossiping, and everything else that's gone on, you only have yourselves to blame on why I'm having to vanish here at this point. As soon as my home's sold, she already knows this too. As soon as my home's sold, I'm not telling anybody exactly where I moved to, and I'd like to see how many people who traveled 2,000 miles to come find me. Especially when it comes to those people in particular. Most of them wouldn't drive 6 miles to visit. None of them would drive 300 miles to visit while I made that effort. So I don't see a single one making the effort to drive that far just to come look for me. Even my own parents are not able to know where I moved to when it comes down to it because of the shit that's happened. I've been threatened enough. They know exactly. They themselves also know that about the threats, and they've also seen who some of them those threats have come from. And it's not something I will mention on here because I know I have flying monkeys on here too. I just know that I'm very aware that I've had a babysitter, I'm on my Facebook account. And so my life has been put in danger enough with all this shit talking and everything going on. And yeah. And I have enough proof to even show where the threats have been coming from. Where especially some of them happen. And I'm not dealing with that. With the games or anything. And yeah, I already am aware that I'm pretty much treading on that thin line of possible defamation, for some people, but they don't realize that what others don't realize is I'm literally calling out not just the abuse, but I'm calling out all this bullshit that's been coming along with it. When people talk enough shit that these third parties are taking upon themselves to make threats, the responsibility goes back also to the mouths of those people who talk that shit. So anyways, I don't want to rant and ramble on this stuff. I'll do that later when I'm a little more awake. But I'm going to get ready to go. I'm going to grab some breakfast real fast before I go back, take a nap, and then I'll just basically make my orders online at this point right now, and then just go pick it up later because I don't want to battle the lines. I was, leaving Walmart. I could see that there was a buildup. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So yeah, you guys have a good day, and I'll try and post up later. Thanks for watching. Bye.